Mr. Beard here with your class recap for Thursday, November 10th. Yesterday we looked at methods of persuasion. Getting people to do what you want them to do without using force. We looked at commercials as a persuasive medium. What do commercials do to engage the consumer, to get them to take action, to buy their product? What types of persuasive appeal do they use? Today we look at a different type of medium. We look at speech. Patrick Henry's famous speech in the Virginia Convention, and we used active reading strategies to make sense of it because it can be kind of a difficult text. We read the speech together in class with a couple strategies. The first thing students need to do is highlight any arguments that are based on logic, logos. Remember, that means using things like statistics, facts, claims, or logical assertions. We needed to circle any words that were repeated over and over again for persuasive effect. We needed to underline any rhetorical questions. And lastly, star any sentences that contain parallelism. Now remember, parallelism is just similarity in structure in a phrase, clause, or entire sentence. So the first thing we were looking for is sentences that use logic as the basis for their persuasive claim. The first sentence that jumped out at me was, I ask, gentlemen, sir, what means this martial array if its purpose be not to force us to submission? Now, this sentence actually contains many of the factors we're looking at, but let's just look at the logical claim first. What means this show of military force if its purpose is not for military means? That's a logical question. It's a logical claim. So we went ahead and highlighted that. Connected to that was, has Great Britain any enemy in this quarter of the world to call for all of this accumulation of navies and armies? No. Again, a logical claim. Why the military force if Great Britain has no enemies? The second element this sentence contained that we're looking for is repetition. We see this word, sir, over and over again throughout this speech. Flip the page here. Looky there. 3 sirs and 1/2 page. Sir, we must fight. Sir, we are not weak. Sir, we shall not fight our battles alone. We see that word repeated over and over again. And why? Who is he addressing? Remember, he's addressing his peers in the Virginia Convention. People on his social level. He's showing them respect, even though he is making a very impassioned and bold, almost traitorous speech. He is showing them respect and keeping that formal tone, which adds to his ethos or his credibility. The next thing we needed to look for, and we're going back to that sentence, first sentence here, we needed to underline any rhetorical questions. Right off the bat. What means this martial array if its purpose be not to force us to submission? I'm going to go ahead and underline that because that is, of course, a rhetorical question. Remember, rhetorical questions are questions that are designed not to get the audience to answer, but to get the audience to think. And that is exactly what he does there. Right under it, has Britain any enemy in this quarter of the world to call for all this accumulation of navies and armies? Another rhetorical question. So we've got 2 right off the bat. And the last thing we needed to do was star a sentence that contained parallelism. And I've gone ahead, these are not rhetorical questions, but I've underlined them for emphasis here. We have petitioned, we have remonstrated, we have supplicated, we have prostrated ourselves before the throne. Do you see that ed form of the verb over and over again? That's parallelism, and he does that for effect. The next thing we had to do was our related assignment. The assignment is closely related to what we talked about yesterday. We're going to go back and look at several different statements and say, are they using a rational or logical appeal, or are they using an emotional appeal, and why? And remember, if you're not here today, you need to go to the makeup area of our classroom and get the assignment out of the bin here. And that will be due the next day. And that covers what we did today in class on Thursday, November 10th. Thank you for listening.